Welcome back, MTG Joe here. Today we're going to be playing the Metagame Challenge in Historic. So we're going to be playing a deck list that covered in the breakdown of some of the best decks. You can check out that video if you're interested. We're going to play some Dimir ninjas. So a bunch of the ninjas got a buff from Alchemy, so just reduced like ninjutsu cost, stuff like that. You're also playing a Retrofitter Foundry, Ornithopter, Changeling, which is both a Thopter and a ninja. So it gives you some value there as well. Some spell pierces, various types of removal spells in a Lurrus Companion Shell. So that's what we're going to be running today. Your sideboard's just got like cut downs, dampening spheres for the Nykthos matchups, disputes, thought seizes, just more removals. Stone of Eric, very good against the Yawgmoth deck. So we are going to run this through. It's much easier for me to demonstrate this deck than to explain kind of the nuance. So we'll explain how to like ninjutsu and stuff in the games. And as always with these things, I usually will run a couple matches and see if we could complete the run in about an hour. If not, then I usually will trim the video and then just kind of advise on what the result was. But as always, if you want to see like full gameplays, deck lists, everything is on the channel. But let's run some ninjas. I tried a Merfolk deck, kind of my build. We ran into Mono Green Devotion and got like absolutely dumpstered. Very tough to kind of beat that Devotion deck with like a tempo-y deck that's like we had Spell Pierce and they had the whole creature pile. Game 1 we had like anti-creature and they had the Kiora Storm the Festival line, so a little difficult there. So this hand's very good to start. So Fairy Seer lets you set up a scry, this lets you draw a card, and we'll have Spell Pierce backup. And then we have both Fairy Seer and Ornithopter. In the dark, I'm uncertain what they're on, no companion, so I'll probably keep the Fatal Push. We'll bring out the Ornithopter as well. This gives me 2 targets. Okay, this is Artifact Aggro. So let's see what they block here. Okay, so no blocks, so we can ninjutsu in, which I do like here. Probably the Ornithopter, because it lets me get access to casting it again. I think we're okay with Darkslick Shores, but I will take the Moonbase Cleric. And I actually am going to play Darkslick here. So while I understand this comes into play tapped, I want to have access to both Fatal Push and Spell Pierce. Because if they go something like Retrofitter Foundry, I want to have access to blowing it up this turn. If they just do something like Ensoul Artifact, then I also have the ability to Fatal Push it. So just giving you some options. Ingenious Smith gets Portable Hole. So when this will just like loot now. So we'll hold off on the loot, see what they do. Probably bring this back to hand. I think we're going to keep Fatal Push and that. Okay, so draw that. Don't think I want the second Spell Pierce, so we'll draw the Fatal Push, we'll discard a card. I think we're going to get rid of Fairy Seer at this point. And then same idea, we have access to the Spell Pierce. So if they go Portable Hole, I could force the Spell Pierce, but I think it's fine. Sure. That's fine. We'll just get rid of this. All right. So artifacts. So just looking at their creature package, they had human, Esper Sentinels, usually human, but I think the cutdowns could be reasonable. Probably don't want Bitter Triumph. It's just more expensive. They're blue-white, so we could play, I think, Spell Pierce. Maybe just trim on a Spell Pierce, keep the Bitter Triumph, just leave it like that. I don't think we want Dispute. I don't think we want Spell Pierce. The Vengeance doesn't do much in this matchup. I don't think this is a Thoughtseize matchup. We could see. Maybe it's right to get rid of Spell Pierce on the draw for Thoughtseize, because we're always going to be playing from behind, but we'll see how it plays out. Both decks will be operating on fairly low mana. We saw that game like kind of topped out at 3. I think it's like a 20 land deck. But you can see how we were being tricky with it. The one thing you can do too, and maybe we should have done it, was Ninja back our Ninjutsu just to keep the chain going. That could have been right, instead of the Fairy Seer, because the Fairy Seer always pushed some damage and was evasive. So that's another consideration that you could have done. We were opting for a couple more points of damage and just to loot a little bit deeper, but could kind of play it like that. So this deck will likely bring in 8 pieces of removal between Portable Hole as well as Glass Casket. They aren't on Luris, so they might be on Zoetic Gryph. So all little considerations, that's where Spell Pierce. Like the Insouls are usually what are going to beat us. I think this hand's fine. So we'll put this on blue probably. Let them find their spell. So Fatal Push a little worse. Not the best here, but I'm probably just going to cut down this so I can try to get some ninjutsu going. Sure. I think we're just taking this out, just control their board as much as possible. Okay, the Fairy Seer was a nice draw. Lets me hold up these, because I really want to cheat these in later. I actually don't think I want either of these at this point. We might want the full set of Spell Pierce just as a protection effect. Might have been right. So I think I'm going to do this so I can get the attack through. Because this will let me hopefully find a removal spell. Foundry is nice, but also I don't have a Thopter. Maybe we still do this, because I can do this. Let me go Seer here. That's technically a Thopter. We'll do this. We'll take the 2 damage this turn. Okay, so they have Thopter of their own. This will get Ingenious bigger. A bit annoying because it does prevent me. No blocks. So we'll see if they trade here with anything. Those bounce off each other. I think we're just lursing to hand. If something at instant speed. A bunch of O2s are really good against our 1 power flyers. So here, depending on how they play out their spells, I have Retrofitter that might be able to sneak it in. I went Lurrus to hand because I can keep rebuying the Changeling Outcast potentially. All that glitters. It's going to be a big chunk of damage. Game. Just crash. Sorry about that. Stable gaming. They might have Fragment Reality. If they have it, they have it. But Fragment actually won't target tokens, so it's fine. We take 5 here. I think we attack with both. I ninja here, because I can use this as a blocker. Cut down, not going to work here. Okay, Ornithopter is also nice here. Do this. Do this. Sack this, recast Ornithopter. Not a bad turn. So unless they have an unblockable or they have 2 bounce and removal spells. If not, they basically threw this away for nothing. And they're probably a Retrofitter. To be honest, this might be the budget version that doesn't play Retrofitter Foundry, to which they're a little softer. So they might have just not been aware of that interaction. Okay, that's fine. think we're gonna do this because they have to decide if they want to block a 4 toughness or let me get a draw discard. If not, I play Changeling out, and then I can... Oh, they're just gonna let me hit him for 10. Okay, well, I'm gonna take this Fatal Push. So even if they get like a lifelink, all that glitter style effect, we're still in a good spot here. All right, they ran out of gas, so on the board, nicely done. 1-0. Sorry about the chair. Ninjas and get in the win. So, tempo fun in the sun. So that, like this compared to Merfolk's gets your creatures bigger, but this can operate on a lower curve. And then just being black gives you option to better removal and hand disruption. And it's just like a fun deck. Like ninjutsu is not something that's normally, like there's a tricky element to it. Like, oops, you didn't block my Ornithopter, but why would you block my Ornithopter? Ninja. It does telegraph pretty open though. Like Luris into Dimir land usually represents this. Wolfrich, let's go first. We play first. Jingantha's usually wizards, so we'll give this a go. That's pretty solid, all things considered. Set up the scry. Actually don't think, just the way our composition of our hand is, that I want the retrofitter. Feel like we're going to be more on the ninja plan or want removal. Okay, so we got Spell Pierce, which is nice. I don't want another land. This is going to cost me a life anyways, so I might as well hold this up. Could have been right to Fairy Seer there, but I'm probably going to Silver Fur back this turn. I basically just want to have, if they like Wizard's Lightning, I have the Spell Pierce. Might have been right to still play this out. Just take a turn off, let them set up. Because really I want this for Dreadhorde Arcanist. I'm gonna do this post. Because they're inclined to cast their spell now. I do need to decide because I'm taking a sizable chunk, but I think I need to keep my thing alive here. Taking 4 here. Ornithopter sick. So we're gonna start with Fatal Push. don't think I want Changeling or Silver Fur, to be honest. I want to find some removal. I have the combo kind of in hand. Should just get rid of that. All right, dump our hand. So with this here, I can reduce the cost of ninjutsu and then ninjutsu it in for 2 and then make a copy of the Silver Fur Master. Dreadhorde. They have Reckless Charge, it's kind of annoying. That's big. That is big damage. They had a very good hand to start. Double threat early. I think we're just taking it here. Taking the 7. Okay, so you're gonna get a little tricky here. So return this to hand. Return Ornithopter to hand. Need Fatal Push. Jeez, how much of our deck have we gone through? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm just gonna hold this land. Consider comes in. So they can't target with Flame of Anor just yet. Come on. So now they can. They just target Flame of Anor, and then they kill both my things, and then they have exactly 7 damage. Yeah, they found their 2 Reckless in their top cards, and I went like 20% of my deck deep and found 1 removal spell. Bit frustrating. Could have kept another thing back, but they needed exactly Bin Anor into that, because even if they cast Anor, I guess they still beat me that way. But cut downs, Witch's Vengeance, and that's probably Triumph. Triumph might be a little too slow on this matchup. Probably trim 1,000 face, Fairy Seer. Two copies of Foundry. Copy of Foundry, maybe. And a Silver Fur. It's like the weakest of our things. Ornithopter is good because it's free. It is an artifact, but that matchup was tough. I could have killed their Soulscar Mage before their turn, but again, their hand was a very well situated hand, so it was going to be tough for us to beat anyways. Because they didn't have the haste there, all they're flashing back is the Reckless Charge, which means I get to untap and go to my turn, which gives me a chance to have a removal spell. We're likely still dead there, but we had some looting going on. I do get 10 removal spells now, plus the sweeper. One thing with the changeling, it technically counts as a wizard, so be mindful of that. It was also like, we been retrofitter, and then we drew like 3 Ornithopters in a row, like where our hand was at. I think at that point in time it was correct. All right. So, answer their board early, I think. No 1-drop's a little annoying. Depending what they do, I might shock in here. Okay, I think I want 1 more land. That's it. Okay, so this allows them to have Wizard's Lightning. I think we do this now. Even though I have Witch's Vengeance, that could be my catch-up. Because I don't want them to be able to like 1-drop, 1-drop. Like this, they have to decide how they want to play the turn. So we go to attacks. Shove aside one of the new cards from the set. We could allure us to hand that turn, but I think getting a creature into play is important. This could be Flame of Anor, but they could only 1 mode. And then also us doing it there, it kind of plays around. So I think we do this. It fizzles their effect. I'm gonna play Silver Fur out. It might tempt them to like kill this. If they just set up their board, then I have Witch's Vengeance. At the end of the day, it's just a little bit more mana effective. Because I want to draw cards off these. Naturally, always have it. Jesus. Like, stack your hand. I want to get my ninja going, so I'm going to put 2 threats out. Them having just like every removal spell. The snaps are good in this matchup, just rebuying your removal. Usually I would bring something like Unlicensed Hearse. And like we have the Witch's Vengeance, but they're not really presenting in a manner for us to really, like us to just do it on Snapcaster is not worth it. Hopefully they just go like Dread Horde. Well, I know that their hand's not Dread Horde Reckless because they would have slimed that down. So Wizard's Lightning there. That's the 5th removal spell against our creature pile. You want to block? I think we just Lurist a hand here. So they're not on Gigantha, so that's worth noting. They bin the land. They bring in Mystical Dispute against us. I think we're going to bring Fairy Seer in. Obviously would have loved 1 more mana. My Lurus is likely going to die, but it's the 3rd Wizard's Lightning. I think I need something more proactive than either of these. Soulscar, 4th Wizard's Lightning. Show it to me. Reckless. No blocks. Okay, Bitter's nice. Push and Retrofitter. I think we're going to go like that. So if they play like a 2nd creature, I can Spell Pierce the Reckless. So I'm going to take the damage here because I want a Witch's Vengeance. Oh, you're a wizard. I should have just blocked. That was my bad. Spell Pierce is probably good. Do I want silver fur is the question. Probably not. That was a mistake. Obviously, I was thinking this was not a wizard. So I should have blocked. It could have saved 4 damage. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us. Okay, more Spell Pierce is nice. I could Takenuma Lurus back, but that's a lot of mana. Okay, so I think we just passed the turn here. They draw 2. Without the wizard out, it gets a lot worse. Okay, I need to be mindful of that. Another Flame of Anor. And Symmetry Sage. That pushes a lot of damage. Okay, Ornithopter's nice. So they probably block there. Think we just loot. Cut down sick. Probably just get rid of Spell Pierce at this point. Hold that back. I can play this out, but I think we just pass the turn. Okay, so they went to their graveyard, so that might be Snapcaster Mage. Okay. Cut down here. That takes him off, means no Flame of Anor. Get this back to hand. And then play this out again. Okay, so we're navigating this nicely. We got the engine going. Probably want to cut these, I think, in the matchup. They're too hard to get going. Get Reckless. That's fine. So they're gonna block the moon. Ooh, they don't. So this will come in. So if we had the other Lord, I was gonna copy the Lord. But now I get a couple loot effects. So I could go another Ornithopter. In all honesty, that might be the safest. Oh, and we got cut down. Sick. Okay, on time-wise... Actually, I should have killed this, because if they Flame of Anor, they get 2 targets. A little bit of a misplay there. Sure. It's worthwhile we got to know that they're playing Spell Pierce. Blind to hand. So we've operated this with largely 4 lands. Again, doing a nice job of just look at all the cards we put to the bottom of our library. Okay, you shoved aside. You had to tank on that one. Okay, so Thousand Face might not be the best. Still like the Fairy Seer. Probably want the one more piece of removal here. Do I want Dispute? Dispute could be interesting. Just a single copy. I don't think we want Thoughtseize in this matchup. Our life total is kind of a resource. If I had Unlicensed, I'd play it. Shuts off some of their explosive draws. Mind you, they'll usually have Flame of Nord like we saw that game. Interesting games. We did play through a lot of removal there. That was like 5 or 6 pieces of removal. I think Spell Pierce probably has a lot of utility early. We're obviously going to want hands that do have removal. And then prioritize playing around Spell Pierce. Well, this hand's good. Sounds very good. Probably put Spell Pierce back. They brought in the Foundry. That's so annoying. Play this out just in case. But I don't have... I have Otawara, that's it. So I'm going to prioritize Cut Down to use first. Yeah, that's not bad. Obviously annoying. We would have been off to the races. Depending how they play this out, it might be a Luris to hand angle. But with Charge in the yard, we want to be mindful, because if they get the 4 mana, it can do quite a bit of burst damage. Okay, another Silver Fur is nice. So notably, Shove Aside here doesn't... Cool, so anyways, I'm ninjaing, right? Play this out. We got 6 damage coming through. Expressive is nice for them, but they haven't seen removal. They'll likely find a piece here. Tap land. So I have a couple options. I could put Luris to hand, but we don't really have the mana. I think just setting up our next turn. Yeah, like neither of these is what we want at this point. Two of their lands hurt them. I want to play around Spell Pierce here. We will kill this now. Just so they don't get the block in. And then just Luris to hand. So 2 of their lands they can't tap. I guess they could tap it once. We know they have a Den, which can be used to block, but that puts them to dead. A land also gives us access to Hive. Yeah, our decision whether or not to Fatal Push didn't make much difference there. Take 1, and then they can't actually tap for mana. Got him! Ninjas! Alright, so we'll wrap this one up. Good demo of the deck, taking down some, like the artifact deck. We took down wizards pretty nicely as well. Saw some shenanigans being had, so let me know what you think. Good luck for those playing, and let me know if you hit 7 wins. Thanks for watching.